You are more than a character in a story. You are the one writing the lines. How to escape the simulation that's controlling your life. Learn the rules, then change them. Behind everyday life lies a constructed theatre, a set of rules, habits, and repeating scripts that play so continuously that the stage becomes indistinguishable from reality. That constructed field is the matrix, an interior architecture of beliefs, expectations, and conditioned attention that shapes what appears on the screen of experience. The matrix is not a fanciful sci-fi trap. It is a living system made of language, memory, and cultural narrative. Childhood sayings, school lessons, media loops, religious doctrines, and social norms all act like code, small lines compiled into a worldview. Over years, those lines harden into default settings that determine how situations are interpreted, which choices feel available, and which opportunities are even noticed. In effect, what seems like the world is often the filtered output of these internal scripts. Mechanisms keep the simulation running smoothly. Fear provides a strong current that pulls attention towards safety. Habit conserves energy by repeating the known. Reward loops reinforce behaviors that bring short-term comfort. Social mirrors confirm the script. Others react predictably when the same lines are performed, and the reaction becomes proof the script is real. Confirmation bias and memory editing do the rest. Evidence that fits the program is saved. Evidence that contradicts it is quietly discarded. Until attention shifts, the simulation keeps reproducing itself. Think of the mind as a software environment, and the self as the program using default libraries. Assumptions are the libraries, emotions are the processes, attention is the runtime environment. An outdated library will throw errors or limit functionality. When a belief such as not enough operates at core level, choices, relationships, and even health follow that instruction set. Changing the library changes the output. Rewriting the code, not in grand drama but in steady, precise edits, alters the experience the program generates. Many of the most powerful commands in the matrix are nearly invisible because they arrived wrapped as care or caution. Don't be too confident. We can't afford that. You're not that kind of person. Words like these are small implants that accumulate influence. They become automatic responses, whispered assumptions that steer perception without conscious consent. Recognize them and watch how the apparent limits begin to look like simple lines of script. Removable, editable, replaceable. People who appear to have escaped the simulation are not lucky. They learn to read their own source code. Instead of reacting to inherited instructions, they test assumptions, feel into alternatives, and behave from a new operating state. Opportunities cease to be random and start to align because internal expectation has changed. Social fields then respond in kind. No supernatural intervention is required, only deliberate attention and practiced revision of the inner scripts. Seeing the screen is the first real act of freedom. Awareness plays the role of debugger. It locates the faulty routines and highlights the lines that run unconsciously. Once visible, the script can be questioned, edited, and replaced. Begin small. Notice a recurring thought. Name the belief behind it. Imagine an alternative line, and the simulation will begin to wobble. Escape does not demand escape routes. It asks for clarity, courage, and the steady habit of rewriting what has controlled you. Silence is not absence. It is the space in which creation breathes. After learning to see the screen, stillness becomes the place where the screen loosens its grip, where the bright chatter of conditioned thought finally settles enough for underlying code to be read. When breath calms and attention narrows, the loud crowd of inherited belief steps back and a quieter voice comes forward. Intuition, a sense of what is true beyond the program. In that hush, the simulation can no longer run on autopilot because attention has shifted from reaction to observation. Begin small and honest. 5 minutes of seated quiet, eyes closed, breath felt in the belly, recalibrates the mind's thermostat. Thoughts will come, as they always do. Label them, let them pass, and return to the breath without drama. No victory required, no punishment for distraction. Over time, the interruptions thin. Patterns that once felt mandatory reveal themselves as passing phenomena. With practice, stillness becomes a lens through which it is possible to discern which beliefs are native to you and which were downloaded long ago. Revision is the second key, working hand in glove with meditation. After quieting the surface, choose a memory that still tugs at the heart, an awkward meeting, a failed attempt, a harsh word, and play it again, but now as director and editor. Step into the scene and change the tone. Enter with calm, speak with clarity, end with resolution. Feel the corrected emotion as if the revised scene already occurred. That felt reality writes into the present moment field and loosens the old programming that has been steering choices and expectations. Together, silence and revision form a practice that rewrites experience from the inside out. Use stillness to find the script. Use revision to edit it. Begin tonight. Sit for 5 minutes. Notice one recurring thought. Before sleep, gently replay a small event and revise it. Repeat without fanfare. Consistency, not spectacle, dissolves the old runtime. Escape from the simulation is not a sudden sprint, but a steady retraining of attention, one quiet breath and one revised scene at a time. Do not chase outcomes. Inhabit them. After stilling the mind and editing the past, the next move is to step into the feeling of having arrived. Imagine the end as a finished scene and enter it now. Savor the emotions, the textures, the casual confidence of someone who has already lived it. Use all senses. What does success taste like? What sound fills the room? How does the body carry itself in that state? When imagination is vivid and feeling is real, the subconscious accepts the experience as given, and the simulation begins to rearrange itself around that inner fact. Feeling-led imagining is more than hopeful thinking. When emotion and sensory detail combine, neural pathways shift, posture, speech, and small choices follow suit. Decisions that once felt awkward become natural. Routines align with the new identity. A promotion stops being a distant petition and becomes the next reasonable action. A loving relationship is no longer sought from lack, but recognized as mutual resonance. The outer world mirrors the inner assumption because attention, steady and specific, programs expectation into experience. Letting go of the old identity is necessary for this shift to take hold. There is an inner crucifixion, an honest shedding of roles worn out by fear and scarcity, and then a quiet resurrection into a truer self. That process can sting. Familiarity comforts, even when it cages. Move through the discomfort by acting as the new self would. Speak differently, choose differently, hold a calmer posture. Small, consistent acts of congruence educate the body and rewire habit, anchoring the felt reality so it no longer feels like pretending. Trust the timing of the field. Once the inner work is consistent, doubt will appear. Meet it with a gentle return to the end state rather than frantic proof-seeking. Persistence without desperation is the engine of transformation. Tend the inner garden, and the outer fruit will ripen in its season. Escape from the simulation is not a single heroic leap, but the steady daily insistence on being who is already desired. Inhabit the end, and the script rewrites itself around that new, unarguable fact. A life rewritten needs scaffolding. After embodying the end, create simple, repeatable practices that turn fleeting insights into durable habit. A manifestation journal anchors attention. Write in the present tense, describe the scene as already lived, and add the feeling word: gratitude, relief, delight. Keep entries brief if that helps consistency. A single sentence written with feeling each morning trumps a long list done once. Over weeks, those pages become more than records. They become a visible trail of inner states that have already shifted, evidence the simulation can be influenced by steady attention. Nightly revision functions like mental housekeeping. Before sleep, skim the day for one scene that left a residue, an argument, a missed moment, a shrinking thought, and rerun it the way you would have preferred. Don't intellectualize the edit, feel it. Replace anxiety with calm, confusion with clarity, defeat with a small victory. The corrected emotion settles into memory, and alters expectation. Think of sleep as the upload window. The field takes what is impressed on the heart and begins rearranging small probabilities toward that impression. Build trust with small wins. Start by asking for easy, verifiable things: a clear parking spot, a pleasant conversation, a helpful stranger. Celebrate these arrivals as data points, not anomalies. Each small success trains your nervous system to accept possibility and reduces the habit of skepticism. As confidence accumulates, scale requests upward: financial shifts, relationship quality, meaningful work, while using the same tools: a felt journal entry, a nightly revision, and steady embodiment of the end state. Momentum grows quietly. Consistency is the currency of change. Hold power with integrity. The simulation loosens in proportion to responsibility taken for inner states. Use mantras to re-anchor when doubt surges, short phrases that return attention to authorship rather than victimhood. When imagining outcomes, consider their ripple effects. Choose creations that uplift and heal rather than exploit. Practices are not tricks to bend reality selfishly, but disciplines that mature the inner field so it can steward broader good. In that stewardship, escaping the simulation becomes less about evasion and more about conscious contribution to a world that is waking up alongside you. After building the inner architecture, silence, revision, living in the end, steady practice, you begin to notice something unexpected. Change rarely stays private. When you hold a different frequency, people around you begin to respond differently. Relationships shift, opportunities rearrange, and conversations take on new textures. Those subtle shifts are not accidents. They are the ripple effect of a revised inner field. One person's recalibration nudges another, and the small wins that once felt solitary become threads in a larger weave of possibility. Seek companions who mirror the direction you intend to grow toward. A small circle of practice becomes a laboratory for mastery. Share journal pages, swap revision experiments, celebrate tiny manifestations. Collective practice provides feedback that the solitary mind cannot: honest reflection, gentle correction, and the practical logistics that help an imagined life translate into ordinary days. Group commitment also softens doubt. When others testify to similar shifts, suspicion gives way to trust, and an individual miracle becomes a reproducible method. Think bigger than personal comfort. As more people choose presence over programming, social fields change. Imagine neighborhoods where scarcity stories are not the default, workplaces where contribution replaces competition, schools that teach inner literacy alongside math. That shift is practical rather than utopian. One changed expectation changes one conversation, which changes a choice, which alters an outcome. Use power with care. Ask not only what can be created, but what should be created. Ethical imagination turns personal liberation into civic responsibility. Escaping the simulation becomes a civic act that repairs systems rather than merely escaping them. Balance is the practice as influence widens. Bold intention paired with humble surrender keeps action effective rather than frantic. Move decisively toward desired states while remaining open to timing and wisdom beyond immediate sight. Teach what is learned, but stay a student of life. Lead with service, not spectacle. In that posture, personal awakening contributes to collective maturity. The simulation loosens not through lone rebellion, but through many steady hands choosing clarity, compassion, and creative responsibility, one rewired belief at a time. Now is the moment to act. Begin with 5 minutes of silence today. Tonight, revise one scene that still carries weight. Tomorrow morning, write one line in the journal as if the desire has already come to pass. Repeat these steps without fanfare. Consistency converts possibility into pattern. Small daily rituals are the scaffolding of a new life. This is no longer a promise handed down by some distant teacher. It is a practical invitation. Become the conscious author of your experience. Choose the habit of quiet. Revise what limits. Live from the end. Watch how the simulation loosens and life answers. When courage meets practice, freedom unfolds. Step through, write the next chapter with intention, and remember, The world you seek is shaped by the thoughts you now choose to hold.